what you're saying is nothing bad happened at all.
I mean, nothing. I mean, to talk about anything, like I got bullied for a bit. You know what I mean?
Why'd you get bullied?
Well, because I was just smarter and stronger and bigger than everyone.
Because I'm the best.
Apparently it was all jealousy, And they all the little dumb kids teamed up and they were like...
They're trying to pull you down, but you just stomped all over them and now you're a famous comedian. Hello and welcome back to What's Your Damage with Jez Watts, episode 10. 10 things I hate about concussions, because that apparently is the only bad thing that's ever happened to this week's guest, Hoani Hotene. He's been actively supported his whole life and nothing seems wrong with him. He's never really struggled, but he had a couple of concussions and we did have a quite enlightening talk about what that experience was like. Hoani Hotene is a very funny and lovely New Zealand comedian that I spoke to in Auckland a few weeks ago. He has shows on sale in Dunedin, March 12 to 14, Christchurch, March 20 to 21, Melbourne International Comedy Festival, March 25 to April 5, and I'm sure he'll have other things coming up soon. You can get tickets to his shows at Linktree/Hoani the Comedian. That is linktr.ee/HOANITHECOMEDIAN, Hoani the Comedian. You also follow him on TikTok and Instagram, where he has much bigger followings than me. I have shows on sale. I'm coming to Dunedin tomorrow. I'm about to fly to Sydney and then stay in the airport overnight, which apparently gets closed. So we'll see how that goes. And then to the Gold Coast and then to Dunedin. So I assume I will arrive ill. I'll be in Dunedin with my new hour, March 12 to 14. I would love to see you there. If you're in Dunedin or you know anyone that is in that place, I'll be at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, April 9 to 19. I'll in fact be there the whole time, but that's when my solo show is running. Darwin, July. Singapore, July. Edinburgh in August, assuming that Iran has not exploded and I can successfully get there. You can get tickets to my shows at jezwatts.com, jezwatts.com. Please go and watch the special if you have not. Leave a comment, like it, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to this podcast, leave a 5-star review. All right, let's get into the episode. That's enough plugging of things. Very funny chat, lovely boy, love you. Here it is, episode 10.
Yeah, I also think there's a lot of weird sort of pressures amongst comedians about like what is a good and bad sort of thing to do. You know what I mean?
Like, oh, sure. I mean, I'm just worried about, diverging from my own comedy aesthetics, I suppose, right? I'm not necessarily worried that, people will judge me for doing the boats. But yeah, I mean...
It's so funny. I feel like you shouldn't call them the boats. There's something
about
hate it,
you, right? They hate it.
No, there's something about you saying the Australian accent with the boats.
Oh,
it just feels like it's like.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It's actually, the first time you said it, I was like, it took me a second to realize you meant like cruise ships. Yeah. Like it's just so ingrained.
Apparently, they get the people who run the cruise ships. Apparently, they do get mad if you refer to it as the boats. I've heard. Yeah. Right?
Well, because they're ships.
Yes, they must be respected.
And I don't know what the difference is, but I've heard people who have been on ships get very, very sensitive about that.
They do, right? Yeah. So I have to get out of the habit. And I had no idea the refugee problem was also irrelevant.
Well, see, even saying refugee problem sounds pretty bad.
Well, I'm saying I'm on the side of them. As I was just defending before the battery went out. I approve of refugees. I think they're great.
But you were saying when you came to New Zealand.
Yes. Well, when I come to New Zealand, I do feel to some extent like Australia is New Zealand's America, like to Canada, right?
Yeah.
You're the good guys. Australians are like the big brash neighbor full of arrogant cunts, right?
Yeah. And I do. And you know what? To go with the America-Canada thing, I think sometimes because America is there, Canada kind of gets to like, be like, oh, we're not as bad as America.
They're like the cool little brother. Everyone's like, well, they're awesome, actually.
But actually, they also have a lot of bad stuff.
But nobody hears about it.
Everybody's like, whoa, that's not America.
Well, it's America. Yeah, America's the worst. Yeah. And so it's an interesting When I was like coming over for the first time, so a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was asking Australian comedians who'd come to New Zealand, like, oh, what's it going to be like, performing to the audience over there? And I'm quite I'm like high energy on stage, but I'm also quite an insecure person, and all my comedy, I'm sort of the loser, right? I'm a low status comedian.
Yeah.
But I got told like, hey, when you go over there, that'll be too discordant for the audience. They're gonna feel that you're like big and brash because you're Australian.
Yeah.
So
also, you're loud.
Well, I am loud as well. Yeah, I can't help that. But I've been trying.
You don't have to.
No, I've been trying for my partner as well. Is like would really like it if I was more quiet. I have a very loud voice. I have a friend who has he was like born with congenital like hearing loss, like not completely, but like he had until maybe 2 years ago, like he sort of couldn't hear properly, and then finally a couple of years ago he got like hearing aids, and he said it's amazing because now he can like hear what everyone says. And then he turned to me and he went, and actually, I've been able to hear you the whole time, Jess. And that's how I found out how loud I was. That a man who was partially deaf was fine.
That should be your next show title, like Jez Watts, Comedy for the Deaf. Like...
That's funny. Comedy for the Deaf is good. I like that as a title. So, all right, what's it been like growing up? I'm gonna mispronounce it, but Maori. Because you're white Maori. Basically,
yes.
You present
basically.
You present white. Like I'm a quarter Indian, right? But like nobody knows.
Yeah. It's funny that presenting language and stuff. Yeah. I got very white skin.
Yeah.
But I think the thing for me growing up Maori in a Maori environment, with
thank you for helping with pronunciation. I need this.
I think when I said it then
Maori,
I was like, I think I might have given a little too much flavor to the on that one. I think I really gave it like a Maori. Yeah. The thing is, it's like when you're a kid, whatever environment you're in is normal to you.
Right.
So growing up speaking te reo in like a te reo school, so speaking te reo and English, and having all my classmates be Māori, everything like most of our learning kind of goes through like a Māori lens.
Okay.
We watched kids shows in te reo Māori, like, if there was anything.
And you have a brother as well?
I got a couple brothers and a sister.
Yeah.
So they all went through the same school, and then my sister went on to do... She like went through and did Māori at university, and my dad teaches it at the university, so they can still speak. I mean, they speak the language very well, and I can understand it good. Okay. I can understand it.
At one point,
good.
Did you speak it well?
Yeah, I spoke it well enough.
Okay.
I think I spoke it. I spoke it well the same way. Because we were learning it until 11,
right?
And then I did a bit of it in high school, so. I would say the gap between how well I can understand it to how well I can speak it is pretty large. Like I would be pretty comfortable listening in and understanding like a bunch of stuff in te reo. But if I had to, I'm just so out of practice with actually like speaking back.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of, people aren't used to it as well, because people will speak to me in te reo Māori sometimes, and then my first reaction will just be to reply in English.
Right.
And I think often... Like, I have to get better at trying to tell people, like, oh, sorry, I don't mean to, like, I'm just kind of responding,
Yeah,
because I think sometimes people will speak to me in te reo, I'll respond in English, and then they'll be like, oh, they'll shut down from speaking te reo Māori.
Yeah.
But I got to respond better in te reo and everything. But what I was going to say is, like, growing up, like, that was normal. So,
right.
it's your version of normal is having, like, a lot of Māori in your life,
Right.
So I think sometimes when you get older, you start to hear things about like, Māori being a minority, or
right.
like, Māori being sort of on the fringes of society, or like, culture in New Zealand and everything. And it just, it doesn't really kind of correlate with the way that you lived your life.
Right, yeah.
And I think the best part about that is that sometimes, maybe even unintentionally, people kind of have like a negative kind of connotation about like, Māori things being kind of like pushed to the side, and so they're like not as good or whatever.
Okay.
But having grown up around it, it's like, I know that, like I had a very good life. A lot of people around me had very good lives. a lot of people I knew were very clever people.
Right.
It wasn't
What
like,
is because obviously from just an outside perspective, like what is the I guess maybe the stereotype about Maori people here in New Zealand or
I mean, it changes, but I think, just like kind of there's less money.
okay.
They're kind of like overrepresented in prisons and things.
Right.
There was definitely like the stereotype of like a hoary kind of Maori, which is like a very like, I don't know, like a country bumpkin kind of,
Okay.
it's like
like violent, aggressive, or just uneducated, or
oh, I mean, I suppose those would be out there too.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think it's like that same sort of thing of like being overrepresented in like gangs and things like that.
yeah, okay,
But that wasn't the life that I grew up around. You
Sure.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
my dad was like always always a lecturer. We
Mhm.
had my best friend's dad. He was a lawyer.
Mhm.
He was a Maori lawyer. Well, he had, his law practice had nothing to do with Maori.
Right.
I don't know what they did, but yeah.
Made-
And then,
made a
like,
bunch of
even
money,
in
I
our
assume.
school, I think one of the kids, their parents was like a judge in the high court.
Yeah,
So
okay.
like the I don't know. I think whatever stereotypes were out in the world
Mm.
didn't really relate to the way I saw life.
Yeah, okay.
So like they seemed silly to me. When shows like you wouldn't know, there was a show called Brotown.
Yes,
Which
I
was-
will not know about this.
Yeah. Essentially, it was a cartoon. It was a funny cartoon. It was
Right.
made by like I think their group is called like the Naked Samoans or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very funny, but essentially every stereotype of every like
Right.
every stereotype was kind of pushed up to the nth degree. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Do
But,
you feel
yeah.
feel like you have to represent the culture, represent the people when you're like performing?
Yes, a little bit.
Do you feel like an ambassador? Or?
No. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
The only thing that you have to like kind of think about a little bit more is
Mm.
like if you are going to talk about anything to do with Maori,
Mm.
just give it a little bit more thought to it.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
Of course.
Yeah. So don't just like, I think it, I've done stuff where I've just kind of gone and like, willy nilly. You can do that with a lot of other subjects. You know?
Right.
If you're going to tell a joke about toasters or whatever, nobody's really going to get their feelings hurt about it. You can just
Right.
say whatever you want about toasters.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, or like, the Shrek movies, or there's heaps of stuff in comedy where you can just kind of like stupidly go in and be like,
Mhm.
oh, isn't Shrek like a big, dumb, stupid movie?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not a very good example. But
Yeah, I
like-
mean the bit needs work. But yeah, no, I get what you mean. Like, yeah, there's like some kind of social component to it
yeah,
that
well,
people
it's
might
just-
have other complicated feelings about. So,
yeah, and it's not specific to multicultural either.
Of course,
I think
yeah,
if
yeah.
you were going to talk about, I think maybe a few people who are making jokes about the Epstein files, maybe they could just give a second thought to how
Yeah.
people in the audience might be like perceiving those things.
It's so weird to me that people. I mean, this is not even just specific to the Epstein files, but like when there's some big news event, suddenly every comedian in the world is like, "Oh, I've got to have my take on this," and it's like, well. If everyone's doing, like, you're not going to be original. Everyone's doing all variations of the same thing. Who
Yeah.
cares? That makes it boring. I don't understand. Like when the billionaires died in the submarine, suddenly everyone was doing the billionaire. It's like that's so boring. Talk about anything else. I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Last night, the early show, the first comic on who's like I've just met, but like was clearly a good experienced comic. But he did so much Epstein material, so much pedophile
yeah.
material for his 15-minute set. That I came on as a second act, and I had to be like, wow, it's a lot of pedophile stuff so early in the show. And it's like, the crowd was like, yeah, it was, It's like, man, you're the first act.
Yeah. I think because we like, sometimes when you're just trying to make jokes about things, everything becomes like a kind of like a, what's it called? Like a concept. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like almost separated from
There's no
reality.
emotionality. Yeah, exactly.
You're kind of
Yeah,
looking for like, what's the clever way to do?
Mhm.
Isn't this thing like, isn't A like B sort of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
And you forget that for a lot of people coming to a comedy show, they are not seeing the world through that perspective. They're actually seeing the world like quite raw. Like they're kind of, when something gets talked about, they actually have emotions related to that subject matter.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like, I'm not a huge fan, although I've finally started to do it in this last year of like putting up all like clips online and sort of participating in the social
Yeah,
media
yeah.
aspect of comedy. And reels and clips and whatever. But because it's sort of built for short form content, it's like stuff gets so divorced from the context, even within my own bit, you know? Because it's like, I kind of only put a 1 minute clip. And then really this is part of a 3 minute bit, which is part of like a connection of 12 minutes of material that gives context to everything. And I'll sometimes see, especially on like a promoted post on Meta or something, it will always be older people will comment like not funny, blah blah blah. It's like like there'll be some like criticism of like the power dynamic that's represented in this joke. And I have decided to just give a full comedic explanation to every one of these. I've got, just so you know, actually about 20 seconds after this in the full piece of material, the power dynamic gets inverted, and like I'm aware of that. That's an intentional thing, part of this joke, and blah 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 blah. Yeah. And like they never answered back to that. But
that's
like,
crazy that you do that. That is why would you do that?
I don't want to. I feel like leaving it uncommented makes them feel like, ha, got him. And it's like, but also it's like.
Them.
What's that, sorry?
I hide them.
No, I feel cowardly.
No way.
And also, I've been told, and I don't like that it's true, but I believe it to be true. I've been told by people who are good at all the social media stuff, is that the negative comments help you more than the positive comments in terms of visibility of posts. And when I'm trying to sell tickets to a show, it's like, all right. Well,
I
have to leave them up.
I understand the...
I don't like that, but it's got to be done.
The tight line we walk.
Yeah, I don't want to do cruise ships either, but I have to do things that I don't like to do.
I've definitely left negative comments before. The only time I will hide them is if I feel like the comment is actually going to hurt the feelings of other people.
That's
I don't
fair.
mind if somebody's like, this isn't funny. Then like,
but if it's
okay.
like racial hate or whatever, that's obviously a different thing.
But I've also had the thing of somebody being like, this isn't funny, and then somebody be like, you suck, to the person who's like, they're defending me.
Yeah, see, that's what helps you.
Oh, yeah, that helps me. And then, but then, oh man,
then
sometimes you leave it for a little bit, and you come back, and the comments are like, in 1776, they signed this thing that said, and you're like, where did the conversation go? What were you guys talking about?
People are crazy. Speaking of crazies, do you have any mental illnesses? I feel like no.
No, I
like,
don't.
Like when I asked you to do this, you were like, you sounded almost worried over Messenger, where you're like, I don't think I have anything wrong with me.
I mean, like...
No diagnoses?
No, definitely no diagnoses.
That's a rarity in comedy.
Yeah, I did. I think a lot of people did that little autism test that was on The Rehearsal. Do you know that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where they did the thing with the
Nathan
eyes.
Fielder.
Yes. Yeah. So I did that, and then, I nailed it. They said, you actually know all the emotions. You actually know emotions we hadn't even thought of.
Yeah.
And then my little brother got diagnosed with ADHD. So my parents got us to all do like this free online test.
Yeah, sure.
And it was pretty close though. It was like something about like, it was much closer than the free autism test.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is pretty like like unsubstantiated thought.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
I was close to the ADHD thing, but I actually think that it's just because I'm spending too much time on my phone. I think
that's probably true. Yeah. Phones definitely like wildly negatively affects cognition. Yeah.
And I'm not saying like the people with ADHD is too much phones time or whatever.
No, we're gonna we'll clip it up. And, yeah, Hoani says that.
But I actually found when I started, being addicted to the screen, I almost felt like I was getting dyslexic. You know
interesting.
What I mean? Yeah, because obviously I'd never had any problems with reading anything, and then there was something about 2 or 3 years ago where all of a sudden I was reading things. And it was kind of fitting all those things that people with dyslexia talk about. You know what I mean?
Like, what are those things?
Just like, you mix the letters up. You just, you actually do read a different word where it does say something else, And I think that was never a problem when I was young, when I was reading more. But, the fact that I haven't been reading, it's like whatever muscle is there.
Yeah, I used to read a lot as a child. And it was maybe a year or two ago, I sort of realized I hadn't sat down and read a full book in like 5 or more years, I think.
Yeah.
And I went, that's crazy. And I made a point to start like reading more. And it really helped my attention span a lot. Like,
and you
whatever
get
you're
used
training
to
your brain.
narrative.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, it helped my writing and it helped my ability to generate material and just stick on task in a way that I think whatever you're training your brain to do, it's like, okay, you're naturally going to go to that.
Yeah.
And phones is like so clearly, with research, bad for attention spans and mood and everything.
Yeah, the thing about phones is like you can be on your phone for like an hour and there will be no connection between what you saw 40 minutes ago to what you're seeing now.
Yeah.
So your brain just like never has to focus on anything for that long. Whereas
and there's never a clear end point either. There's never the end of you have access to all of the world's knowledge or whatever.
There's something about us that needs things to be wrapped up and like completed.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a shape of a story and stuff that the brain likes.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think we should have access to like all the information in the world. Like we shouldn't know about. I was gonna say we shouldn't know about Epstein. I think that actually should be in the light. But
oh yeah.
But like we shouldn't be thinking about it always. And it's stuff like with all the stuff that's happening in the States. Or I think COVID was a great example of that, where everyone was like trapped inside. Just looking at, deaths in other countries, like as a live counter and stuff. It's like, it's not good for mood. It's not good.
Yeah.
We're built to know 50 to 70 people. That's who we're evolved to know.
Yeah, I heard even less. I heard it was like 40.
Yeah, it's like our brains have not evolved. Like they're still evolved for us to be in sort of tribal society.
Yeah.
But technology has outpaced it. And so now we have this crazy connection and stuff, which is, anyway. Any physical problems?
I got a sore knee.
Fucking nothing, man. This is so tough.
I have varicose veins. I haven't listened to any of these episodes. I don't know if these often end in tears.
No. There's been no tears yet. I have I don't know if you know Joe White, or he's going back to his original name, Tilahan Hailu. But he told me a crazy story because he was like born in a Sudanese refugee camp.
Whoa.
And really horrendous stuff also. But he asked me before we recorded, he's like, do you need me to cry? And I was like, no, I don't need you to. It's fine. But no, nobody's cried yet. But
okay.
Yeah. But I will say, you do seem to be so far the most healthy person.
Yeah, and I do feel like I shouldn't have talked about it like that.
What, being healthy? Oh, you feel like it's a brag.
I'm not incredibly healthy, but I'm fine. Like nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
No, I had a couple bad concussions.
This is from the boxing?
No, I wish.
You wish?
Yeah. No, I wish. That would be so cool. No, this was when we did a film competition.
Okay.
And the idea was that it's like 48-hour film festival. It's like quite big in New Zealand.
Right.
And, it's kind of, you've got an idea of it by the name. But essentially what happens is all these teams get together.
Right.
And then at the start of the 48 hours, each of them is given there's like 14 genres that get spread out across all teams. There's like one object, one line you have to say. And I don't know, something else, but like, it's kind of that thing. It's so you don't know what genre your film is going to be until the beginning. But you can set up a bunch of other stuff beforehand, which you should if you want to make a good movie.
Yeah, of course.
But
that's very exciting.
Yeah, so our one was like a horror film or something, and the idea was that I would have my hands tied up because I've been captured and I'm trying to escape. And then as I'm running away to escape, I would be running down this dirt road and I would fall onto my shoulder, which was like quite padded up.
Right.
And, that was like the shot, and we were not. How
old were you?
I would have been 19, I'd say.
Baby. Yeah.
And yeah, I was pretty gung-ho about the whole thing, which I think means you just go straight into it. I just chucked that out there. I'm looking for you.
I think that's right. That's good enough. Yeah.
But yeah, we had no stunt work experience.
Right.
So
you're a 19-year-old, of course. Yeah.
We had a big shoulder padded up, and so I ran, and then I fell onto the shoulder. And then what we didn't even think about is that your head tends to follow quite quickly after it.
Of course.
So I fell pretty hard onto the shoulder. The head just smoked the ground.
Ooh.
And they got that on camera.
You get the good shot?
Yeah. Oh my God. It was probably the best part of the film.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. and then they were like, "Oh, are you okay? Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, good, whatever." And then it was just like then pretty quickly, I think people realized, because I would just be walking around being like,
in a daze.
Hey, what are we doing here?
Are we going to do that show where I fall down?
Yeah, this is a crazy place. And then I got to the hospital, and it was just like I'd just be like, oh.
So you couldn't do any more of the 48-hour shooting, right? They took you to hospital.
Oh yeah,
that's done. Yeah.
No, I mean it was pretty clear how bad I was,
okay.
you know. And then after that, it is a blur of being in an emergency room, flashes of faces. I kept asking, "Where's my phone?" all the time. Which is bad sign. Bad sign. Brain's not even working, and it's still like, where's the phone?
Yeah, I got to see if I got any likes. Yeah.
And then, just like, it's such a weird thing to get concussed like that.
So I've not had a concussion. My fiance, she's a horse rider.
Yeah.
She has a horse. She has a bad horse. She got him for free. And still, she paid too much for him. You know what I mean? Like, he's a bad horse.
Horses are expensive.
Well, they're very expensive to keep anyway, right? But it's a thing of like he's ex-racehorse and he's just particularly dumb and easily spooked and stuff. And so she's become actually a much better rider from having him because he's such a difficult horse to control.
Yeah.
But she got thrown once. This was a couple of years ago, maybe a few years back, and she got a concussion, and then I did not know this had happened, but then she drove back from where the horse was with a concussion, and then came home. And once she came home, I was talking to her, and I was just like, "Wow, she seems dumb right now."
Oh yeah,
and she's really smart. She's a surgeon.
What was she saying?
Well, she was just. It was just something where, like, I could just tell something was off. Right? She wasn't making she wasn't completely making no sense, but she was just sort of saying things in a way that I was like, oh, that's sort of a weird way to interpret what I just said or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then I said, are you okay? Has something happened? She went, oh, I fell off Rocky and I hit my head. And I went, oh, I think you have a concussion or whatever. Yeah. And then she was like, oh, no, I don't have a concussion. And then it was this thing where she refused to go. I was like, let me take you to the hospital. She's like, refused to let me do it. She's a very sort of strong-willed person anyway, but she's normally strong-willed and smart.
Yeah.
And she remembered that she's smart. And she remembered that she's smarter than me, but she was actively dumber while she had the concussion. And so all evening, I'm like arguing with this person who knows they're smarter than me, but isn't.
Yeah.
And it was really frustrating.
Oh, okay.
She was so sure. I mean, she's fine, right? Like, she's fine now. But, like, she was so sure that she was going to be right about everything.
Yeah,
because I know.
You should have given her, like, a Sudoku or something.
Yeah. I'm like, look at this objective.
You know what? This is medium difficulty.
Yeah. But it was like a couple of days later, she was like, oh, you're right, actually. Now I remember. Now that my brain works, it's like, yeah, you were right the whole time. I did have a concussion. And I probably should have gone to hospital. And I should have listened to you.
But you should have a little more strong will.
Well, I was trying. No, we were arguing a lot, but I wasn't going to like pick her up and carry her to the hospital. But she just, it was interesting that, her cognition had changed. So essentially her personality had changed.
Yeah.
But she remembered who she was beforehand. You had that concussion and you said another one as well?
It wasn't really a concussion. That concussion was definitely by far. It was really bad. Like one of the few memories that I remember is standing outside of the CAT scan machine.
Yeah, okay.
Having, I don't know if it was just before or just after, but sort of like being in that state of mind where I knew that my memory was just like all over the place. Like I didn't
in the moment you could feel it.
Yeah, just that sort of thing of like feeling incredibly lost, like, you know, and then having my partner at the time there, and then just sort of like having no idea, but just like knowing that things are bad, you know what I mean, and then just kind of crying and holding them. It's a very strange thing, and it's one of those things where your memory is kind of like in a place where I can't tell if because the way that I remember, it's almost outside of myself. You know what I mean? Where it's like almost you've had to, like the image seems so clear, but also it is outside of myself, so it can't be how I actually experienced it.
Of course, yeah.
But just it's your feelings trying to be manifest into some sort of image, I suppose. So that was by far the worst one, and I think it's one of those ones where I've become way more cognizant of how much I feel like I would lose if my mind kind of went. You know what I mean?
Do you believe, this might sound like a left turn question, but like, do you believe in an afterlife, and do you believe in like the spirit of yourself? Do you believe in like a life after death?
Not particularly.
'Cause-
I kind of think that this is what it is.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean,
Yeah.
I agree, and a big part of that is because of how much I feel like my sense of self is like who I am based on the things that I think and believe,
Yeah.
and like there's been multiple like sort of case reports of people who acquire some kind of brain damage and their whole personality changes, like they suddenly become like a very out there racist, or like Roseanne Barr, who like was sort of famous comedian, now sort of a bit of a crackpot old person. She's been on Kill Tony.
Did she have
So
something?
when she was a teenager, had a very serious brain injury. I think she was hit by a car.
Wow.
And everyone who knew her said that her whole personality changed after that, and she became a comedian after that. She was not a funny person beforehand.
Really?
And her whole person, like everyone said, oh no, it's like a whole different person now.
Wow.
And it was like the correct brain damage to be one of the most successful comedians of that era.
Yeah.
But it just fundamentally changed who she was, right? And so for me, I'm like, well, if my brain dies, then who's the me that goes on, right? So in any meaningful sense, I don't sort of see what it is. But yeah, I think it's terrifying. Like it's that thing of like, I don't know if you've had relations that have had things like Alzheimer's and stuff, but that idea of like losing yourself, it's very scary.
Yeah, I mean,
so I've been really campaigning to have Nicole's horse put down, because I don't want her to have another concussion.
You don't want to have a wife who used to be smart,
and thinks that she still is.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's such a clear thing that I've thought about, the idea of being like an old. Of being older, it's so fun. I do brain training stuff. Like
I think it's good to do. Yeah,
I think it's good to do as well. And sometimes you can feel like your brain being active, in a fun way.
Yeah.
But I do have that idea of being in old age and kind of struggling to sort of talk to people, but still having the memory of when I was young, I used to go on stage. I used to be blah blah blah. I could talk to people. I could make them laugh, and I could make a lot of people laugh. It was I don't know. So even stuff like with the guitar, just like playing guitar at least a little bit, because they say music is like one of those things that kind of like retains memory, or like at least it's some touchstone for people who, when they're older, they can hold on to. Yeah. I mean, those are just fears. That fear is not the same as trauma. Let's not
get hung up on the word trauma, I suppose. Yeah, because it's like the podcast I called "What's Your Damage," and then I was like, yeah, this could be anything, right? Yeah, we can talk about your sore knee. That's fine.
It is bugging me. It is. I'm trying to think of what stretch I'm supposed to do to fix it. It's just the right knee. I heard that my sister told me I'm supposed to lie on the side and lift it up in a straight line, and I think that might be helping.
How's your relationship with your parents? What's the family dynamic like?
It's really good, man.
Yeah, okay, cool.
They're so supportive.
Were they excited that you were going to become a comedian?
They always wanted me to do comedy.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually.
That seems rare.
Yeah, no, my mum would always send me. There is a comedy school down in Wellington, and my mum would always send me their things, and she'd be like, "I would pay for you to do this course."
Is it well regarded amongst comedians or not?
I think there's quite a few comedians who have gone through and done it.
Okay, cool.
I'm trying to think. I think it's
Oh, is this Thornton?
Yeah, Neil Thornton.
I know Neil. Yeah, I met him in Edinburgh actually. Yeah. He's a lovely dude.
I think it's great. I think it's great for people to have a way to get into comedy, which is like quite safe and quite supportive.
Yeah.
Because if you, it's
depending on the open mic, it can be. Not.
Oh yeah, for your first ever, because if you're just trying to get into stand-up comedy and you just go to a random open mic, and it's like 5-6 people, and it's incredibly hard for anyone.
Of course,
to get a laugh.
Even experienced comedians, it's like a tough gig.
Yeah, I know that if there's 5 or 6 people in a room, I'll get through my 8 minutes. And if you're like you've never done it, it probably looks quite good, when you're just taking every little trick you can to get any sort of laugh. Be like, hey, this guy with the mustache, hey, what's up with your mustache, idiot? And then, if you're an open mic comedian,
Yeah.
you're probably seeing that, be like, I would never get to that. Genius.
Yeah. You check the notes. It just says believe in yourself. It's like it's that classic move.
Yeah, you've got everything. You got everything. You just go out there. I don't even need this. But really, it's just having that sort of like that attitude of like, this actually is not that big of a deal. Whereas like an open mic comedian,
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. They're incredibly nervous.
Yeah, it's 100% of their experience at that point of comedy. Yeah.
But my parents were super keen to get me into comedy.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's awesome. I think.
I mean, I think they're shocked at how far it's gone.
Okay.
You know, I would say.
Oh, they like wanted you to try, but they like weren't necessarily thinking, "Oh, you're going to be famous."
Oh yeah, of course not.
Yeah,
of course. I mean, who would? You know, I mean, you know,
yeah.
they would much more. They would way rather I went through and finished a university degree. That's for
Did
sure.
you start one?
Oh, I've started like 4 or 5.
What did you start?
I started law, philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
History was probably the one that I dropped out of the fastest.
How quickly did you drop out of history?
Oh, it might have been lesson 2, and it was dropped out in my mind. It's not on the paper. So down on my official whatever, it's still cost me $3,000 or whatever it costs. Media studies, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, even now, like whenever I have to write anything on a laptop, I just hate it.
I started a few degrees like when I first got out of high school. So I started. Originally, what did I study? I studied English for a bit, and then I studied journalism for a bit, and accounting was the one I dropped out of the quickest.
Oh yeah.
But then I went away and lived all over the world for 5 years. I came back, and then I had not yet realized I was going to do comedy. So then
do you find people
became
are
a scientist.
You became a scientist?
Yeah, I've got 4 degrees. I've got a master's.
Wow.
I got a master's in neuroscience, and it was going to be a doctorate, but then I left for comedy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, unreal.
Yeah, which was is a hard thing to explain to my mother.
Okay, well, my follow-up question.
What's your question?
My question was going to be: do you find people are overly sympathetic to you dropping out of university?
Oh, I mean, you know what? I think even though I have a master's, I think at least for a long time there was a narrative around me that I was a dropout.
Oh,
because I didn't finish my doctorate, so people were like,
okay.
"You fucking loser."
You can't win.
It's actually crazy. Yeah, I've got a $50,000 debt for my education. I got all these pieces of paper, but because I didn't finish the last one I was doing, they're like, "You fucking can't stick with anything." But I don't know. I mean, I tried a bunch of different things. And comedy, it's I don't think on paper it made the most sense to stick with, but I think a lot of people who stick in comedy, it's once I was in, I couldn't stop doing it.
Yeah. I as soon as I started, I was like, well, I'm at least going to give it a year and see how that goes. That was my thing immediately. As soon as I started comedy, which was late in the year 2020 or something.
So you started post-pandemic?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I remember it was late in the year 2020, and I don't know how many people know that kind of in the summer, like at the end of the year, in the summer in the southern hemisphere, comedy really slows down. People are pretty happy to go watch music, go watch
right,
and bars have less times open for open mic comedy.
Well, yeah, because it's less profitable.
Yeah, they're actually busy on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Exactly.
Now.
There's so many times at an open mic show, particularly an unticketed sort of ambush comedy open mic, that I will see the show start and then patrons actively leave the venue.
Yeah.
And it's if it was
I totally understand.
If it was going to be busy, we can't have these people up there just saying horrific things.
Oh yeah. Oh man, and it's pretty bad.
Oh, open mic everywhere. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember as soon as I started, I don't know if you're the same. I was like, okay, I next year I'm just going to kind of do it as much as I can. For a year. And then at least immediately I will know if I'm bad at this.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah,
and then I can just give up immediately. It doesn't have to be a big thing.
Yeah. See, so for me, it's I'd always loved comedy, but I never knew I was allowed to start until I met an open micer. And I sort of had this idea. It was similar for me with science, whereas I loved science, but I only knew about famous scientists. And then someone that I knew
who I didn't necessarily think was that smart, was like, hey, I'm going to study molecular biology. And I went, oh, can anyone do it? Oh, I guess I'll do that. And it was a thing where I was in New York and I met like an open micer in New York. And like, she was funny, but I was just like, oh shit, it just demystified it to me that it's like, oh, you can start and be bad and be inexperienced.
Yeah.
And so then I went, oh, I'm going to start it. But I think, even after my first set, not that it was like so incredible, like it went well, but it was like some friends and family and stuff were there and whatever. But like after that first set, I was like, oh, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I knew. But I also had no idea if there was going to be any financial upside to that decision. But I was just like, whether or not it works, I'm actually never going to not do this.
Yeah, there was a real pressure. There was a real kind of magic about the idea of like being in the club.
Yeah, great.
You know, being amongst the other comedians and talking to them.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like almost more than being on stage. That was almost like a fun sort of like, imagine if you could just hang out with these guys.
Has the reality borne out for that?
Yeah, I think
not
it's
always,
obviously
maybe.
not as magical as you think it's going to be, but also it is
some
kind
of
magical.
it is.
Yeah, it
absolutely.
is. Sometimes you are like talking to your mates who are comics and everything. You're like, this is fun. Like this is so much fun. Like,
have you had many like brushes with fame in comedy that you go like, oh wow, were there like things where you like started being on a lineup with famous comedians and you went, this is such an incredible moment?
I think the first time I was on a gig with Di Henwood, that was like, I mean, I've only done a couple with him. It's not like he's popping around doing heaps of open mics or whatever.
Right.
But that was one where I think a lot of people kind of, like in my family and stuff, were like, wow, you know, that's so cool that you're with him, you know. And I remember Guy Williams was also on that lineup. And Tim Batt and Liv McKenzie, and I think that was everyone.
Yeah.
But I you know,
Liv I just met the other night. She's really funny.
Yes, yeah. And she's been around. You know, she's kind of been popping about, and she's been on TV and blah blah blah.
Oh, okay, cool.
You know, so people know her as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, I think, when I was on a lineup with all those guys, and there was a photo, and that was a good gig too. You know, that was one that I did really well on.
Yeah, nice.
That was cool. I think people really liked that. And then, yeah, just being able to do, like, I opened for Tofinga, who is like, he's kind of a legend in New Zealand comedy. And he's quite famous in Australia too, actually. Right. He's got a big crowd there.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I don't know. I've just been able to, like, I don't know. It's funny. Like I said, New Zealand comedy is so small. You do kind of meet everybody like pretty fast.
Do you know who Greg Fleet is from Australia?
I don't think so.
So he's sort of he's probably aged out of relevancy now, right? But he was like a big deal back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, do you know who Stuart Lee is? Like, yes. So he's in one of Stuart Lee's books, right? Because he was like big in the festival stuff, and Stuart Lee's talking about his friend Greg Fleet, that he like invented a style of comedy that is like the Australian style, which is let me tell you about a different time I did this bit. Is an Australian style that Greg Fleet like kind of pioneered or whatever. But Greg Fleet's like was very famous in Australia for being not only like a comedy legend, but also like a very, very big heroin addict.
Oh, okay.
And for being very unreliable and for borrowing money from everyone and never paying back. He's gotten much better about it, but he's been off heroin, he's been back on. I mean, heroin's a sticky drug, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he's also like had his meth times as well. But like, but I remember the first time he borrowed money from me going like, I'm a real comedian. I was so happy he borrowed money under false pretenses for his kid. I called a friend of mine, hey, Greg Fleet borrowed money. I'm not going to get it back. I'm a comedian. What was your worst gig ever?
Worst gig ever?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I don't know if it's the worst.
You've never had a bad gig?
No, I've definitely had plenty of bad gigs. You know, okay, I'll tell you. There was one gig where a friend of mine, he was like a caterer for like this company in Napier.
Okay.
Right? And he was saying, oh, they're doing like a end of year work gig or whatever. This was like a couple years into comedy. So it's still very fresh. You know, probably fine on like whatever, like, but he was essentially saying like they're gonna have an end of year thing. What they want somebody to do like 20 to I can't remember. It's like 20 minutes of comedy.
Yep.
And then you do the quiz. Okay. And
yeah, I feel like I know where this is going. Yeah.
and it's so funny because what they did, right, is they were kind of all the organizer was like, okay, everybody's going to come into this room.
Yeah.
And then what we're going to do is like, we're going to announce that we have a
you're gonna be
special
surprised.
guest.
Great.
And you're going to come out.
Perfect.
And you're going to do the set. And everything.
Perfect.
And it's like, you know, even now I would still be like, I would still probably just roll with it because like, you know, that's what they've decided to do.
Yeah.
So that's what they did. They got everybody in, they had their drinks, they had whatever. And the guy was like, all right, now we've got a very surprising guest. We've got a comedian. Welcome to the stage, like Hoani Hotene. And then I come out and people clapped a little bit, you know, but nobody knew who I was. There would be no reason for anybody to have known who I was then. Even now, it would still be like, maybe one person in that room might have known who I was.
Right, yeah.
And it was just terrible. It was like,
sure.
Yeah.
And they don't want there to be a comedian right now. No one knew. No one was ready.
And I don't know if you've ever done this thing where you're like, oh, you know what, for this, I'm not going to do the dirty jokes.
Sure, yeah. For a corporate, yeah.
And then I was kind of doing it, and I was doing all this stuff, and nobody was really enjoying it at all. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this will save it. I'll do the dirty joke.
Classic.
And then I chuck in like the dirtiest joke I had right at the end. Nobody liked that either. and then I was like, all right, time for a quiz.
Yeah. Oh God, classic.
It was terrible.
Classic.
And I don't know why I did this. I have such a weird sort of thing. Sometimes I will stick around longer if the gig was bad.
Oh,
so they
interesting.
were like, because they were telling me like, oh, you can have some food and drink or whatever after the show.
No, I want to be out
and
of
I was
there.
like, okay, you know what? I'll grab a drink. And I started talking to a couple people, and it was like, it's so sad. It was just so lame.
Were people like trying to make you feel better about it?
People were all good. You know, I think people were just like.
Did anyone tell you that you were brave?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I would have remembered that.
That's the meanest thing someone can say. They're trying to be helpful.
Wow, you really did it. You were up there.
Oh, it takes a lot of balls to go up there, you know?
Yeah. And the only other thing is I didn't stick around too long, but I stuck around longer than I probably should have.
Yeah.
The other thing is they were having their end of year thing on a vineyard, which had a house that people would rent out for their honeymoon. So it was a massive house. So it wasn't actually, they would have it for their honeymoon. They might have it for like a bridal party, actually, because there were several rooms. And it was incredibly fancy.
Right.
And it was so strange because they let me stay there that night.
Okay.
On my own in this big fancy house. And it was so weird to have one of the worst gigs of my life.
Yeah.
And then be in essentially like.
Be rewarded for it.
This huge like mansion, you know?
Yeah.
It was, it felt really strange.
Yeah.
It felt really weird.
Comedy is weird.
Yeah. But nobody's ever put me up in a place like that since.
No.
Like, that was like.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I had like a sort of a. Like I had a corporate gig in like a country town in Victoria. It was like maybe 4 hours drive to get there. And when they booked me, they were like, "Hey, when you do 30 minutes, it's this much money." And then, but also if you want to like host the raffle afterwards, we'll give you $250 more.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "All right, yeah. I mean, it's more money, of course. I'm already driving 4 hours." But yeah, then I bombed so fucking hard for the half hour, and then you could just feel that nobody wanted there to be a comedian at all, and they certainly didn't like me.
Yeah.
Specifically. And then after I was done with the set, you could feel everyone being like, all right, well, at least that's the last we'll see of that guy. And then it's like I have to hang out for like another hour.
I have more money to earn.
Yes, here's the raffle. And it was pretty upsetting. But yeah, the guy who booked me for it ended up resigning from the activities committee over it. He said, "How dare they treat you?" And he's very drunk and stuff. It's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, how dare they treat you like that? It's so disrespectful. Blah, blah, blah. And then, I later, like, I ended up, like, he and his partner, like, kept in touch with me and stuff. And he really did resign from the activities committee. He said, "I'm never going to bring another person here. They don't deserve people like you." And that was very sweet, actually.
Oh, man.
But yeah. All right. Favorite film?
You know what? I don't know if this is my favorite. This is the movie I've been trying to recommend it to people. It's a Spanish movie called, I think it's called Strange Tales.
Okay.
It's like, have you watched like Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
I started it and then I couldn't stick with it. Is it quite similar?
It's only similar in the way where it's like each scene is kind of its own story, and they're all like really fun and strange.
Yeah,
and it's
cool.
like I think a lot of people would really like it. It'd be a great but it's a Spanish. I'm gonna
Do you
look
speak
it up
Spanish?
real quick. No. You don't have to speak Spanish.
Okay.
You can read subtitles. If you can't read, don't watch this. If you can't read and don't speak Spanish, do not try watch this.
Yeah,
film.
you don't deserve
But
to be
if you can do
entertained.
either of those two things, watch Strange Tales. I'm gonna double check if that's what it's called. Oh no, it might be called something else. I don't want to think. What's your favorite movie?
That's a good
Wild Tales.
Wild Tales.
Yeah.
All right, Wild Tales. I'm actually not sure what my favorite is at the moment. I've definitely have rewatched many times over the last couple of years. Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
Yeah.
I've like re-fallen in love with all the Lonely Island stuff since the Lonely Island Seth Meyers podcast started coming out. They started breaking down all their SNL sketches and films, and like, man, I love how dedicated they are to the joke. They really, really work hard to make things funny.
They were awesome.
And they continue to be. Favorite musician?
All time, I don't know.
Or whoever comes to mind, it's fine.
I still think if you went back and I listened to like Chance the Rapper, it would still be very fun.
All right, Chance the Rapper.
Yeah. Frank Ocean, actually. Frank Ocean will be the number one.
All right.
Yeah.
And favorite comedian?
Man, I've had so many favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Hannibal Buress was like
Hannibal Buress, great.
For a long time.
Yeah,
I loved that kind of like chilled out thing.
His first album, so good.
Yeah.
My Name is Hannibal. Was it? No.
Oh man, Hannibal Buress, Animal Furnace.
That's the second one, I think. But yeah,
whatever the one was where he did that big joke about apple juice. I love that one.
Dude, that's such
when
a
he
good
was
joke.
still kind of like chubby and he had like the lame sunglasses.
And I loved the joke that actually made me go like, oh, that's a... Because I think like the boundaries of comedy tend to be like whatever you see and stuff, right? And so there was a joke he did that made me go, oh, that's an interesting thing you can do on stage, which he said, I'll take your bicycle and I throw it in Lake Michigan or whatever the closest body of water is to the city I'm doing this joke in. And I'm like, that's so good. It's beautiful. Yeah, he's great. And what's the meaning of life? This is the final question.
Genuinely, I think the meaning of life is just having something to do. Like, genuinely,
I like that.
When I've got nothing to do or I've like not figured out anything to do, I'm just like, man, life is pointless. But then as soon as I'm like, man, I should clean the kitchen, I'm like, oh, that's a little bit of meaning.
Yeah.
I gotta clean the kitchen. You literally just making yourself do anything.
You truly have had no struggles, Hoani.
No, I have had struggles,
You had
but
no
like,
struggles?
they're not worth talking about. Yeah.
Thank you for talking to me.